Here I am. Da-da. Hi, everybody. It's Georgia Rose from Georgia Rose Connection. I don't know why this looks like it's dark. I hope it's not. But anyway. Good morning. Happy Saturday. It was quite a week for me. I don't know about you guys, but I had quite a week. Every quarter, my company does, hi, Deb. Hi, Denise. Every quarter, I have this big, huge event that my company does, and I always have to appear on stage and do things, and it's like the week leading up to it or the 2 weeks leading up to it are absolutely insane for me. So I owe everybody phone calls and messages and everything, so forgive me. I'm just been super busy in the earthbound world. So today I want to talk about the fifth dimension and our spiritual world and what's going on with the energy, because we have a lot of stuff coming up, especially for next weekend, and I wanted to give you a little bit of a background about it because I think we have to prepare. It's that intense. Hey, Cupcake. Hi, John. So I missed my Cupcake. I haven't seen her in a while, Deb. Okay, so what's going on with the energy? First of all, we have a couple of minor things that are going to happen over the next couple of days. Chiron is now in Aries. Some people call it Chiron, some people call it Chiron, is now in Aries. So as far as our wounds and the places where we feel pain, we're going to really start to feel like we want to do something about that now. We've had 7 years of kind of wallowing and introspection and figuring out what it's all about, and now we're ready to do something about it. And we're going to start taking action, finding our voices, etc. So that's refreshing, right? Tomorrow, the 21st, I'm going to read from my notes here because it's a lot of stuff. Tomorrow, the 21st, the moon is in Cancer. So you're going to feel, tomorrow's a great day for spending time with family. You're going to feel your attachments. You're going to want to stay close to home and do things with family, etc. It's a real day of togetherness tomorrow. And that's probably the calm before the storm, I hate to say. But we can use this energy this week for good things. So today is a day of togetherness, today and tomorrow, moon is in Cancer. And then tomorrow, Pluto retrogrades in Capricorn. Now, Pluto retrograde is not a huge thing, but what it is it's an energy that wants to alleviate us of anything that controls us. So that could be a relationship, it could be food, it could be alcohol, it could be a bad habit, it could be anything that takes us away from our real spiritual power. Pluto goes retrograde for us to become introspective, aware of it, and then if we don't do something about it ourselves, it creates a situation that rips it away. So Pluto retrograde is a great time to go on a diet. It's a great time to give up whatever your vice is that is controlling you. It's a great time to end those relationships that are controlling you or not bringing you into your spiritual power. So Pluto retrograde, which will be with us actually until September 30th, that energy, it's not a powerful energy like you're going to feel it intensely, but it will very subtly create situations and experiences for you to start letting go of the things that control you. Because what Pluto really wants to do by bringing in the underworld and bringing in the things from the deep is wants us to change for the better. It wants us to be more in the light, actually. It wants us to be more in our spiritual power. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Michael. So Pluto retrograde is a cycle that's going to be with us till September 30th. And if you watch the video back, for those of you who just joined us, you will know how to use that energy. Go on a diet. It's a great time to start something you always wanted to start that is really going to bring you into your personal power. So it's a great time to detox also when Pluto's retrograde. So anything holding you back from your spiritual evolution, Pluto retrograde is probably going to push out of your life. Monday the 23rd, the moon Mars sextiles Jupiter. Mars and Jupiter sextile, and this makes us take action. It makes us take charge, and this is energy that we can use to direct our goals. So on Monday, when you go to work, you're going to start to feel like you can get things accomplished. For those of you who felt like you're kind of running in place, that energy is going to dissipate a little bit. Monday's a great day to make the list and check everything off. Tuesday the 24th, Venus enters Gemini. Venus in Gemini is beautiful. For those of you who are Geminis or have Gemini in your chart or know a Gemini, Gemini is a lovely energy that is very... Geminis know a little bit about a lot. They're beautiful conversationalists. I love talking to Geminis. If you ever hook up with a Gemini at a cocktail party, you're there for the evening because they're just very fascinating people. But Gemini is also a sign that is extremely distracted. shiny objects can, oh, wait. So when the Venus is in Gemini, we have a tendency to take on too much. We have a tendency to have our finger in every pie. So just you want to watch that energy and try and harness it. I find when there is a lot of Gemini energy around, if I make lists and try and structure my day, it goes a lot better because I am very easily distracted when the moon or Venus or any of the large planets are in Gemini. But it's also a very social, outgoing planet. So if you've been planning anything or wanting to invite someone somewhere, this is the time to do it. Venus in Gemini is an energy where people will want to go out, will want to party. You're going to find places more crowded. And so just watch the energy because it will have a tendency to make you feel like you have, attention deficit disorder a bit. So now I want to talk about the 29th, and that's the real reason for my video, which is next Sunday, I believe. And 3 days before, because we have a full moon coming in. And this is a really, 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 can't stress really, powerful new moon, full moon. There's a lot of energy that is also in aspect to this moon. We have Mars conjunct Pluto. We've got Uranus getting ready to change signs. We've got Jupiter conjunct the moon. And we've got Saturn in there. We've got a lot of things happening. I'm not going to go into it for those of you who don't study astrology. But let me tell you that this full moon is extreme. You can tell that the energy went into Gemini because I can't talk very well. I'm going to slow down. So this full moon next Sunday, and for the 3 days leading before it, the energy is very powerful, is in Scorpio. Scorpio likes to bring hidden things to the surface. We've been dealing with Jupiter in Scorpio since last fall, and a lot of things have been revealed. All those sexual harassment things that have come out and things with the government and all this stuff. That's very typical of Scorpion energy. Scorpion energy likes to bring up the hidden. It also likes to bring up anything that's very personal and intimate and taboo. So when we're working with planets where we've already got Pluto in retrograde, which wants to bring us in touch with the things that are in the way of our personal power and our spiritual transformation. Now we've got the moon in Scorpio, which is an energy that's going to add to that to bring us to a place of our emotional balance. The moon's in Scorpio, which means the sun is in Taurus. Taurus likes security. Taurus likes to be nice. Taurus is very grounded. Scorpio is emotional. Scorpio likes to share things. Taurus likes to me, mine. So there's a balance that we have to achieve there. This full moon will probably make a lot of people have outbursts, emotional outbursts. It's going to bring up the stuff that you've been wanting to talk about for a while. Some of it good, some of it may be a temper tantrum. But this full moon is very volatile. I think that it's going to bring up a lot of familial energy. My nose is running a little bit. It's going to bring up a lot of familial energy. It's going to bring up, conflicts that we've had with our family of origin that need to be ironed out. If we become the observer in this energy and don't buy into the volatile, the impact, the suddenness, the jolting of it, and we can remain the observer and be able to speak our truths in a healthy way, we'll be much better off, obviously. But whatever happens, just trust that this is happening to bring you to a higher place. But I guarantee you, leading up to next weekend and next weekend for some, it could be a very volatile energy, a lot of conflicts and things like that happening. This will also be the energy of emotional declarations. For those of us who are able to go into the right action of the energy, this is a time when you can really declare yourself, when you can talk about your true feelings. But it is also a time when fears come up, anger comes up. And I want to talk about that before I end the video, which we'll get to that in a minute. This energy is an energy where anything that we've been holding in the vault that is also in the way of our spiritual evolution and development, in the way of us really going to the next level of ascension in our lives, the next level of peace and harmony in our life, that's going to come out. This is a time when the vault gets cleared so that we can go to the next level. This full moon is coming at a time when there are other planets going into new dimensions, new phases where they, after years and years, so we have a cleansing, we have a new beginning, we have a whole new cycle starting. So this is an energy that wants to clear out the old and bring in the new. And all I urge you to do is to stay in love, stay in peace, try and make your words be harmonious with what you really want to feel. You know, we always regret when we go into anger and when we go into really extreme conflict. I'm just reading my notes because there were other things I wanted to say about this moon. It reminded me when I was reading and about this energy, and when I was, channeling this energy, it reminded me of, remember the Madonna song, Express Yourself? That's what this energy is like. It's like we're going to want to just express ourselves and say what we got to say. We're not going to give a damn about anybody else. So let's just pause and go into our breath and into our body and kind of get grounded a little bit before we start out. This can be a jolt, but remember, it is, although seemingly counterproductive, in the end, this is really going to bring you to a productive place in your life. And so I want to, I think that was pretty much the energy of the new moon, as if that wasn't enough. So I want to talk about that kind of energy in general right now. We all have it in our lives. We've all either got someone in our life that's very reactionary, or maybe at times we've been the reactionary person, depending on what's been going on in our life. And I'm a pretty positive person, I like to think. I think most of the people surrounding me are positive, but we all have those times. I don't mean to sound negative about them. It's just a fact of life. So what creates that? Well, I've really come to believe, out of all of my experience, my own experience being at times angry and frustrated with things and watching other people, I really believe that those emotions originate out of fear. They originate out of frustration from unrealistic expectations. So let's just look at fear for a minute. I'm able to, now in my life, I've evolved enough, thankfully God, that when someone is screaming at me or yelling at me, I don't engage. I used to be a big engager. I come from, no offense to anyone, but I come from a big Italian family and we're screamers. So I remember my first boyfriend said, "Why are you yelling?" And I said, "I'm not. This is how we talk." So anyway, so when I see someone reactionary now, my first instinct is not to join in the argument and be right and win and I got to say my piece. My first reaction now is, wow, that person's in a lot of pain. I'm glad that I don't feel that way right now, but what can I do to help them feel that way? I know what it's like to be that angry. I know what it's like to be that jealous. I know what it's like to be that upset and frustrated. And what does that emotion really need from me? And I think we all, hopefully in our life, come to a point where we can look at that and be in compassion for that other person. But it's really, really hard. So how do we get there? We get there by looking at the emotion, but we also get there by really realizing the triggers. And I truly believe a lot of our anger comes from our self-worth. Let me explain what I mean. When we look for our self-worth from other people, from relationships, from food, from drinking, from whatever makes us feel better about ourselves, when we have that artificial stimulant, whether it's a relationship, a person, buying something, whatever it is. When we go to those places for our self-worth, we always come up short. And it makes us pretty damn angry. It makes us really angry when someone doesn't return our affection. It makes us really angry when someone doesn't answer us the way we want to be answered. It makes us really angry and frustrated when someone doesn't do what we want them to do. And why can't you just be this way? And what kind of a person does that, right? Well, it's because we're going to the wrong places for our self-worth and our satisfaction. So this energy requires us, this planetary energy is asking us to look at where we go for our self-worth and our satisfaction. And the place that we do go for that should be one that's really satisfying, one that's real, not something that's fake, not something that's an illusion we're telling ourselves. If I eat this ice cream sundae, I'm going to feel better. If I get this surgery, I'm going to feel better. If I buy this car, I'm going to feel better. If I go in a relationship with him, I'm going to feel better. I need this person to make me feel beautiful. I need this person to make me feel fulfilled. If my children don't call me today, I'm unloved. That's all ridiculous. It's not real. What's real is what we have in our hearts and the love that we really share between each other and the people in our lives who treat us the way we need to be treated. I also think that the frustration comes sometimes from an unreal expectation. You know, I was probably 40-something years old before I realized my parents are never going to be the people I really want them to be. My parents are who they are. You know what? I better get over it. My parents were good people, but I had this idea in my mind, this image of what I wanted my parents to be. Why can't they be more fun? Why can't they want to come on vacation? Why can't she want to help me pick out my wedding gown? Because that's worse than who they were. So when I stopped going there for that, I felt a lot happier. So I think sometimes instead of trying to get people to give us what we need to stop looking there and start looking in the right places and finding people in our life who really build us up and finding our own love in our life to build us up. I know that there's a lot of us girls out there, us women out there, and men do it too, but I think it's more prevalent with girls. Write me, comment if you think that's not true, because I'd love to hear and start a debate, and I am always looking to be educated as well by you. But a lot of us women go out with a man or in a relationship with a man or a marriage with a man, and we stay. We don't leave because we are insecure or we're waiting for something to happen, or it's not a fulfilling situation and we're really in deprivation. And we stay there because we keep looking for our self-worth there. And we need to look for our self-worth within ourselves. And when we do that, we suddenly don't think so much about what the other person thinks. And then we're free. And then that relationship either gets a lot better or we move away from it. And I guess men do that as well. I think a lot of men look to women for satisfaction, for validation. But I also think that men don't stay. Men look for something else. That's just the nature of men. Men are hunters, right? So for anyone out there in detriment, in a relationship that's not feeding your self-worth, just look at that. And maybe the relationship could be made better if you look for your self-worth elsewhere, or maybe the relationship isn't where you should be. However, don't let it make you angry. Don't let it make you frustrated, because those are the things that prevent us from our own growth and our own spiritual evolution and our own connection with Source. Okay? Someone asked me to talk about money and finances. The energy that we're in right now is a little bit difficult for finances for many of us. Some of us, especially if you are in Pisces or Aries sign right now, are probably having a little abundance. But we're coming on a time as Uranus goes into Taurus. It was in Aries for 7 years, and it's going into Taurus now. I think actually 8 years. Uranus in Taurus is going to govern the world financial markets. I know that sounds fluky and crazy. Call me crazy. The last time Uranus was in Taurus was from 1928 to 1935. We had the Great Depression, the Dust Bowl, etc. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I do think there's going to be a new world order with money. I think that the things that we value are going to change, and that includes money. My advice to people financially right now, across the board, myself included, is don't overspend. We all need to learn what is enough, and we all need to learn what it is to conserve. That was a very large lesson in my life, the lesson of sustenance. And I believe that we confuse stability by thinking the things that we need for stability are our sustenance, and they're not. They're our insecurity. For instance, I used to have a very lavish lifestyle, and I thought I needed all that stuff. You know, I couldn't imagine living without certain things. And now I live a very simple life. A good life, yes, but a simple life. My goal, and I actually have Aurora Luna to thank for this, because one time she was talking to me about how she was paring down her life, and she had gotten down to 2 suitcases, and she was traveling, and that just stuck with me, Aurora. You have no idea how inspiring that was to me, because I had this huge house and other homes and I had so much stuff. And now I'm down to like one place, and I've thrown out and given away and sold so much I can't even believe. And my goal is, if it doesn't fit in the backpack, I don't want it. That's crazy, I know. I don't know if I'll ever get there. But my goal is, in 5 or 10 years, that I'm just going to have basically a backpack and be traveling the world, monasteries and mountains, and living with the people, and a video camera. I know it's crazy, but I want to do it. I'm not quite there yet. I still like certain accoutrements and creature comforts. But I believe everything's temporary in life, so I can do it for a time. So that's my point, is with finances right now, we have to learn to pare down and go for what we really need, not what we want. It's great to have beautiful things. I love beautiful things. I admire beautiful things. I enjoy a lot of beautiful things. I have a beautiful home, thank you God. I worked very, very hard for, but I'm not attached to it. If I had to leave it, it would be sad, but I would do it. There's nothing materialistic that I am so attached to that it would make me sick or weaken me to the point of not being able to function if I didn't have it. I got over that a long time ago by losing everything. not the way you want to do it. But the universe will always show us, whether gentle or harsh, it will show us. So that's my report. Stay in the love for the full moon. I'm sorry if this report seems a little bit more erratic than usual. That is the Gemini energy. And I probably will do another video towards the end of the week. I'll be traveling though, so I don't know where that video will be done, but I promise I'll do one right before the full moon. But please stay in the energy. If any of you have any questions or comments, if you put them down below, I absolutely will answer them. Have a great weekend. It's a great